Hello from me, Lazar. We continue with the next lesson from the HTML course, which is, Ways to Set Styles in HTML. We open the PDF file. As already mentioned in the previous chapter, applying a layout style in an HTML document can be implemented in three ways. The first, through the style tags, opening and closing, in the head of the document. The second, in the body of the document to a specific item, via the style attribute. This way is called inline. And the third way is via an external CSS file, to which, through the link element, a connection is made. Except through the link element, it can also be done via the import CSS rule. In the first versions of HTML, they used only the first two ways. And after the emergence of the idea for the separation of the layout from the content of the web page and the creation of separate layout, and CSS was created specifically for that. Since then, the W3C consortium strongly enforces use only of the third way by linking to an external CSS file, and this file contains the whole formatting and layout. When you acquire some hands-on experience in HTML and CSS, and in any programming language at all, you will understand that the rules, even less the recommendations, may not always be mandatory. And that any rule can, there is an exception. We won't go into details. I'll just say that here too there are situations in which you will have to use the first two ways, and especially the first. We have already considered the first way vaguely in the front head, and I will recall it briefly, through the style tags, opening and closing, in the head of the document, also called inline style. The syntax is as follows: write the element to which the style will apply, then we set the properties and its attributes with their values, enclosed in curly braces. Example, we will create a layout style of the paragraphs in our document, which will also apply to the paragraph, which is located in the body of our page. For this purpose, in the head part we will add the following code, and this is what we will see in the browser. In the example, we have set a background color, font, and text size. This style is used when we want it to apply only to the current page, either for textbooks or when our site consists of one page. The second way is in the body of the document to a specific item. It is called inline style. In Bulgarian it is translated as linear or row style. Implemented via the style attribute. Here is an example of our paragraph. Here, where the paragraph itself is, include the style attribute, and the same things are set. With this syntax, the result is the same as in the previous example. This way of setting styles is used if you want an item to be formatted in a unique way and stand out from others. Of course, this can be done in the other two ways as well, but it is more complicated to implement. The third way is through an external CSS file, to which a link is made. It is called external in English. In this way, the styles are declared in external document, CSS file. As this file can be written and in a plain text editor, then it should be saved with a .css extension. Then in the head part of the HTML page is being linked to this document. Here's an example. The document is called style.css. And the very way of setting the styles in the content of the CSS file is similar to the first way. That is, the code is like this, located between the style, opening and closing, tags, and in our case it will contain the following, except through the link element an external CSS file can be added and via the import CSS rule. This is mainly used to import from one CSS file to another, but can also be used in an HTML document, so we'll take a brief look at it here as well. The import rule is placed between style, opener and closer. Here is an example. One reason why style setting is used via an external CSS file is in cases where when we have a site that is consisting of 2 or more pages and we want them to be shaped the same way. Then we link them to a common file. The other reason is that according to modern trends should to separate layout from content, as I already mentioned, the W3C consortium strives in every way to enforce the total use of this way in all cases, which, of course, is not always reasonable and expedient. Each of these styles has its proper place and application logic and usage. Styles priority, I show them from lower to higher priority, so the lowest priority is adding an external CSS file with the import rule. Next is adding an external CSS file with the link tag. Next is, through the inline style between the tag style, opening and closing, in the head of the document, head. And it is the highest priority inline the style that is implemented through the style attribute of the specific element in the body of the document. That's all for this tutorial. Best regards.